What's up, everyone? It's Nick Gallo, Gal the guy you know. Um, I'm finally doing a video like this because a lot of people have asked me over probably the past 10 years of how it happened. So, you know what? I decided, I think it's the perfect timing um, to break it down for you all. So this video is going to explain and tell you the story of how I got to know Rihanna. A lot of people question, how did I do it? How does she know me? Did I do something special? Did I meet her through a friend? Did I meet her through a family member? Um, there's a lot of speculation, a lot of questions asked. I have answered a couple people here and there over the years, but I've never given a full, detailed explanation. So I thought it was perfect timing with her releasing, you know, her first single in 6 years, her first individual single with "Lift Me Up." Um, so I was like, you know what? Why not just do it now? So yeah, we're gonna get into it. So it all started in around summer of 2005. Summer 2005, I was just graduating actually. I just graduated from high school, so that tells you my age. Um, and I remember I just turned 18, and Pon the Replay was a summer song. A lot of people knew Pon the Replay off of Rihanna's, not her self debut, her first album, her debut to the world, um, Music of the Sun. Most people knew Rihanna is the Pawn the Replay girl. No one knew her as Rihanna or nothing else except, yo, it's that Pawn the Replay girl. It's the girl that sings Pawn the Replay. It's how a lot of people associated her and could kind of label her as because she was so new to the scene and no one really knew a lot about her. And you got to remember at that time, social media wasn't, it wasn't what it is today. It was very, if I'm not mistaken, I think social media was barely even around. It was mostly like MySpace, and I think Facebook was just getting introduced to college students. Because if I'm not mistaken, I remember Facebook, you needed a college email and had to be verified through the college to even get Facebook. And all you could do was poke people, I remember, on Facebook. And there was no Instagram, there was no TikTok, there was no nothing like that. So that summer, like I said, Upon the Replay came out. Rihanna announced a very small tour. It was a mall tour. So it was in a mall. When I tell you a mall, a regular shopping mall, in the middle of the mall on this little stage. To be honest, I even forgot how many songs um, Rihanna performed. But I remember hearing about it in maybe end of August 2005 or sometime in September 2005 that she was coming to a suburb of Chicago. And I was like, you know what? I don't know. I liked Rihanna's sound. I liked her style. She was young. She was fresh. She was something. She was something I think the industry didn't have. And I say that too as she was, Caribbean. She had a different tone. She had a different sound. She was just different. I felt, and I was like, you know what? I want to go. I want to go see her. Like I want to see her perform. And so it was in a suburb. It was in a northwest suburb of Chicago, actually more north, called Niles, Illinois, and it was at this mall. If I'm not mistaken, called Golf Mill Mall. And she was coming here, actually, at the exact date, October 26th. And it was promoted by the Secret Body. It was promoted by Secret Body Spray. So the secret deodorant fragrance for women. It was sponsored by them, and it was called the Secret Body Spray Tour. I think, if I'm not mistaken, it was like 6 to 7 tour dates. It wasn't a lot. It was very minimal. It was like her first way to meet people and to show herself, and it was kind of like almost in a way a showcase to the big cities to show her, to show people who she is, what she could do, what she's all about. She's perform, her hit single right now on the radio and her music video, Upon the Replay was out already. So, it was still new. And I remember If It's Lovin' That You Want, she performed it, but it wasn't a single yet. So, like I said, it was really, really new. Um, so I actually went there with a friend. I actually took the bus and train all the way to Golf Mill Mall, which is not a close distance. It was like about like a 2 hour ride between taking the bus, waiting for the train, taking another bus, getting there. So we got there, I remember, a little earlier than what, before the time of the show. The show was at like 6 or 7 at night. But me and my friend got there around like 4 or 5 in the afternoon. And she was actually doing sound check on the little stage. And you gotta remember, she was new. Rihanna, she wasn't known. So I remember her having her hair like back in a ponytail. She had the long brown hair. I didn't want to bother her, but she was doing sound check with her two dancers, and there was a DJ there doing it all, doing the sound check with her. And so she's doing a couple songs, she does a sound check, and then she goes into this like side door in the mall and is escorted backstage somewhere. I don't know where her dressing room was, but somewhere in the mall. I don't know if it was in a vacant, store lot or something, but she was gone for the time being. And like I said, the show didn't begin for another like 2 to 3 hours. And I doubt it that she even left. She probably just stood there and hung out and ate and got dressed there, and, until she had to do the show. So as they were getting ready for the show, me and my friend are just hanging around, and we're hearing people talk about a meet and greet. And I was like, I'm telling my friend, I'm like, hey, we have to get in that meet and greet, but I don't know how, but we're gonna get into it. So let's figure it out. So the one person I kept on hearing say it, so I just go up to the guy, and he's the one like organizing and getting the stage set up and putting ropes up where like the crowd will be, so it's not interfering with people shopping in the mall, as well as people blocking like store entrances, because it was basically in the middle and stores were surrounding the stage. So it wasn't a lot of room, to be honest. And I asked the guy, I'm like, hey, I heard you talking about a meet and greet. How do you get passes? And he's like, oh, do you need some? I'm like, yeah, it's me and my friend. Is there any way we could, is it before the show? Is it after the show? Like, how do we get them? What, like, do you have to pay for them? He's like, no, no, no. I have actually two on me. He's like, I'll give them to you. Just the meet and greet will be after the show, and you'll meet her, and get an autograph and a photo, and so on. So me and my one friend were like, yes, okay, we locked it in. Like, we locked in the meet and greet, so we knew we would meet her after, planned meet and greet, where it's not just like we're trying to meet her when she's leaving the stage. So finally, the time comes. I remember it was promoted by Kiss FM uh, in Chicago, the radio station Kiss FM. It was promoted by. I do remember that because I remember the step and repeat behind her said Kiss FM, that she was perform on stage. That was the banner behind her that was being advertised. So it was promoted by Kiss FM, and um, she performed amazing. Like I said, it wasn't a live band, obviously. It was just a DJ with a backtrack and her on the mic. It was live, no lip syncing. And she had her two dancers, and I remember she had like capri jeans on with some like Air Force Ones, a Rockaware white hoodie, not a hood, yeah, it was like a hoodie type thing, and like it had like the Rockaware logo here in green, and had like green stripes on the side, and her hair was just down, and it was like lighter brown, and yeah, she sang about maybe if I'm not mistaken, maybe 4 to 6 songs that I could recall. And she closed obviously with Palm the Replay. So after the show, they were like, "Hey, anyone with this type of wristband?" And the wristband was for the meet and greet. Line up here. We're gonna bring you back to meet Rihanna, and yeah, that was the plan. So we go back there. We're lined up, and finally I get up to her, and it's not like a meet and greet. This is like old school back when they're sitting at a table. I remember she was sitting at a table in between her two dancers. Um, she had like an assistant or like a record label executive sitting behind her, and the picture was like literally like just looking at whoever's taking the photo and her behind the table just posing with you. And I remember I made a sign that said "I love Rihanna" because I used to make signs back in that day for anyone I supported. Um, and I remember she's like, "Oh my God, I seen your sign the whole time. Um, you were, when you were in the audience because we were right in the front during the performance." And so I had the poster, and I remember it said "I love." The love was a heart, Rihanna, and she signed the heart. And I actually have um, the heart. I cut out the heart from the poster and just kept it. And she signed it in silver. I'll put a photo right here, so it'll be here soon. And she signed that. Music of the Sun was already out, so because this was October 26th that the show happened in Chicago. It was October 26th to be exact. So the album dropped. I remember I purchased it at like FYE or Target or something beforehand, whenever it came out. She signed the CD, and um, she signed it. I remember she smeared it a little, if I'm not mistaken, and she wrote over it. She's like, "Oh my God, I'm so sorry." I'm like, "No, no, it's fine. Like, whatever." She couldn't have been sweeter. Like, um, we take our photo. She signs that. Actually, I don't know if you remember the tabloid magazine, OK Magazine. She recently had a feature in it at that time. And I brought it to her, and she's like, "Oh my God, I haven't seen this yet." So she was like looking at it while I was meeting her. And yeah, it was very quick. So, blah, 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 went on. So and so, we said hi, bye, took the photo, got my autograph. My friend got his autograph, got his photo. We leave the line, on our way home. It was a great, accomplished day. Like I said, we had meet and greets, we got to see the show. And to be honest, we'll never see Rihanna in that small of a setting ever. I mean, it was probably less than 100 people in a mall on a little stage. And yeah, so that was October 26th, 2005. So right after that happened, Kiss FM again, um, Kiss FM Chicago, the radio station, announced their annual Jingle Ball. And the Jingle Ball was held at the Chicago Theater, which is a very historical theater in Chicago. And I think the headliners were the Backstreet Boys, and it was, if I'm not mistaken, Natasha Bedingfield, Rihanna, and it was a few other people, but I forget. But those are the main three I remember. But when I seen Rihanna, I was like, "Yo, I have to go. I have to go." And my friend that I went with to the show, actually, he was like, "Well, let's get tickets when they go on sale." So I remember like Kiss FM had like some kind of like pre-sale. We got tickets. It was like we had like really good seats. I remember. I think we had like first or second row, right in the pit. And yeah, we got the tickets early, so we were good. This is probably like in November, because the show was December 8th. It was gonna be at the Chicago Theater. So fast forward to December 8th, we're like, well, dang, we wanna try to meet Rihanna again, and we know it's a radio show, so like she don't have, and she's still new. Like Rihanna's still really new at the time, so she actually has sound check. So me and my friend go early, and it was cold, and I remember it started snowing. It started snowing to a point where like it was so much snow we couldn't see like who was in the alley. So like Chicago theater, there's an alley and there's the stage door, and everyone was coming up in their coach like buses. They were in coach buses and getting dropped off to do sound check, and then they were waiting for them to bring for them to come out. So Rihanna recognized us and she goes, "Yeah, come on the bus. Like I can't stay out here. It's snowing like crazy." So here she invited us on the bus, and the one thing I regret that kills me every time is we didn't take a photo. We were just talking to her. Literally talking to her, showing her photos from when we took of her at the mall. I remember like on our cameras, because this is before like cell phones were great quality and whatnot. Um, so we were showing her, you know, things like this, photos, just talking to her. To be honest, I forget what we were talking about a lot because it was so long ago. And I remember her label rep was like, "Come on, we have to hurry up. We have to hurry up." And I was like, "No, we're fine." And she signed a couple. I think she signed, if I'm not mistaken. I brought a 4x6 because that's still when it was a digital camera ready to get it printed. The photo of me and her that we took at the meet and greet from October from the mall tour. I brought it with me. She signed it, and then my friend actually had his photo and "Music of the Sun" on vinyl. I'm pretty sure, and he got that signed. I'm not mistaken. But I think he got the Music of the Sun vinyl signed. And we hugged her. We said our goodbyes. She's like, "Oh my God, it was so good seeing you all again." And you know, that's it. We went to the show. We enjoyed it. She was giving us, eye contact, waving at us, blowing kisses, winking. Um, so yeah, that was all 2005. So this is in total, just to let you all know, I have seen Rihanna live, meaning I've seen her in concert 24 times so far, from 2005 through her last performance, which I seen was in the end of 2016 at the Global Citizen Festival in New York City, which was AKA the last official show of the anti-world tour in America. Um, So yeah, I've seen her 24 times. So from there, Rihanna was in Chicago like every between 2005, 2006, 2007, 2008. Rihanna was in Chicago like every, I'm not mistaken, like every couple months. She was here at least once or twice a year for either like a radio show, some kind of promotion. Like for instance, I seen her. She did the B96 Summer Bash, which is another radio station. She did that in 2006. She opened up for the Black Eyed Peas on their Monkey Business tour in 2006. I seen her, and then in 2007, that's when Good Girl Gone Bad was released, and she did the B96 Summer Bash again, which is the radio show. um, and all these times I didn't get to meet her. I didn't know how to. I was just like, how do I see her again? Like, and this is before like you could really get to for social media to connect with your favorite artists. Um, and then 2008, she had her foundation shows. It was three shows. One of them was Chicago, and it was the Girls' Night Out tour. And it was at now it's Tao in Chicago, but prior it was Excalibur. Excalibur was a club slash venue, and she performed a very small show there. And I got to see her there, and she recognized me because I was front and center. She's definitely seen me, waved hi, but no meet and greet. It was just like recognizing me, just kind of being. The thing is, to get to know your favorite artists or for them to recognize you, you just have to be seen. Like be front and center, be noticeable. Don't have to go crazy because I've never been someone that's screaming or going nuts. Just be out there. Support your artists. Buy their tickets to the shows. Buy their albums. Support them. Like any way you could. That's how you should do. That's how a real fan or stan, I guess you would say, what you should do to meet your favorite artists or get to know, or for your artists to get to know you. They may not know you by name yet, but they recognize your face. So I will always say that. Then that same year, that was March 2008, was the Girls' Night Out tour. She did 3 shows. I remember Chicago was one of them. And then I think at that same month, she announced she was going to be one of the performers on Kanye West's Glow in the Dark tour. This tour was, the openers were Lupe Fiasco, NERD, which Pharrell Williams is a part of, as well as Rihanna, and then Kanye West was his show. She had 2 shows. They had 2 shows for this tour in Chicago. So I'm like, okay, I first of all, I liked everyone on the lineup, and I especially liked it because obviously Rihanna was on it. Um, and she didn't have meet and greets yet, like for the tour, because you got to remember this is not her tour. She was opening for Kanye West, and this is still Good Girl Gone Bad is out, but it's not the Reloaded. So Take a Bow isn't out yet. Disturbia isn't out. If I Ever See Your Face Again, it's not out yet. This is still the first version of the album. So it's Umbrella, Shut Up and Drive, Hate That I Love You, Rehab, all that, all the first singles off the original version of Good Girl Gone Bad. And she had the short hair. I remember the short hair. And B96, the radio station, was actually having a contest on the radio. I remember, like, call and we'll ask you a trivia question about Rihanna. If you get it right, you'll win tickets to the show as well as 2 meet and greets to meet her at the radio station earlier in the day. So once I heard that, I was like, okay, the radio's gonna be playing all day for me because I am winning this. I need to be in there. Um, yeah, I had to be in there. And what I did was I remember printing out all the photos from the Girls' Night Out tour from her foundation show in Chicago 2 months earlier. I printed all the photos I took on my digital camera and I put them in a big photo album and I gave them to her. And so well, before I say anything more, that's what I got together to give to her because I mean, I didn't know I was gonna win and even get through the radio station, but I was determined. So I was listening religiously to see, and hopefully it was an answer I knew. But I do know pop culture and my favorite artists pretty well. So I was like, okay, yeah, I could probably do this. And I got through, and I think the question was, how do you spell Rihanna? Which multiple people got wrong because they always put the H before the I, which is always the I before the H. So a lot of people, everyone kept on doing like RH. I was like, what? Really, people? Um, so I got it right, and they're like, okay, yeah, well, we'll see you. You know, this was actually May 23rd, 2008, and um, I go in there, and you got to remember now, this is two. So I met her last in December 2005. So 2006 passed, 2007 passed, and Rihanna was all over the place. Like Rihanna was doing everything from her own tours in Europe and Australia for a Girl Like Me album and the Music of the Sun album and promoting everywhere, as well as now Good Girl Gone Bad was, you know, her breakthrough um, album, as well as Umbrella was huge. So she's met a lot of people, and I didn't know if she would remember me. So I remember at first they had us at like a conference table in the radio station, and they had like all these Rihanna posters on the walls, and all from Good Girl Gone Bad photo shoot, from the album cover to the inside of the album and everything you wanted. It was on the walls. And they had like a whole bunch of stuff to get autographed. So we're like, oh, this will be cool. Like we're actually gonna like, I think it was supposed to be called like a lunch with Rihanna. So we're thinking like, oh my God, she's gonna sit there, eat with us, maybe ask some questions while she's sitting at the front of the table while it's probably about a good 20 winners. Um, yeah, maybe 20, 20, 10 to 15, 10 to 20, I would say, all with a plus one. Not everyone had a plus one though, but most people could bring a plus one if you won. Uh, then when she was about to come in, all of a sudden they take and they had all these posters laid out, like 8x10 glossies from the label, like posters of the album cover, all for us to get signed. And all of a sudden they take them all away. So we're like, oh, what's happening? And like they were like, okay, yeah, Rihanna's not gonna actually sit down. It's gonna be a very quick like photo with and go on. Whatever. I mean, I didn't even care at this point as long as we were getting to see her and get our photo with her. Um, you know, yeah, that's all that mattered. So she comes in. She says, "Hey, like she said, like, hey, everyone," and you could tell she was tired because she's on tour. Like, she's still doing the rigorous like tour every night, show every night, radio station every morning or afternoon, like new city every day, tour bus life. I mean, this is before the private jets and all the exclusive stuff she had. This was very much, she was still in the trenches of, doing what she needed to do to make her name in the industry. And she looks at me and she knows, like, she knew my face. I remember her looking like, I know you, but I can't, like, she didn't want to say, I know you, because there really wasn't a lot of time. They were kind of like, the radio station was, remember, like forcing people, like, okay, come on, photo, bye, photo, bye. And I told her, I'm like, hey, I have this album for you. It's all the photos from your foundation show 2 months ago. She's like, oh my God, thank you so much. And she looked at it really briefly because they had to get going. And from there, like I said, got our photo. I got my photo. My friend got his photo. Yeah, that's it. Um, then that was, like I said, May 23rd, 2008. Um, then she does the Jingle Ball. I'm sorry, the B96 Jingle Bash. So B96 and Kiss FM are like the two main like pop radio stations here. So she was a part of the B96 Jingle Bash this year, and it was Rihanna headlining with special guest Chris Brown, Jesse McCartney, Kevin Rudolph, and Chantel, which was cool because there was Chantel from Barbados. She sang, T-shirt and Impossible, but at this time it was just the T-shirt song. This is her first album. And then Rihanna's from Barbados too, so it was cool to see like two artists from Barbados and two females. So that was super dope. And we had like, me and my friend had like four. I think I think about my own ticket on my own. Just went by myself or sat close to my friend, but we were a little further apart. I think it was like fourth row center, and the show was amazing. Um, at this point, Disturbia's out. Like the re-release of Good Girl Gone Bad Reloaded is out. So Disturbia's out. Take a Bow. Uh, yeah, it was dope. Um, so then 2009, I didn't see Rihanna at all. Um, the next time she was coming to Chicago was the Last Girl on Earth tour, which was the promotion for Rated R. United States was the last leg of the tour, and United States, I remember Rihanna changed her hair to red. It was short red. If anyone remembers, because she was slowly transitioning into the loud era as she was finishing up the Last Girl on Earth tour. Last Girl on Earth tour is probably one of my favorite shows. And for the Last Girl on Earth tour and the Loud tour, she had meet and greets. Um, you could purchase them. They were $500, and you got a ticket in the first 3 rows. You got to go backstage to get a photo with her. You got, I think, like some kind of food item. I forget exactly what. I think it was like either snacks or something. You got like a lanyard. Um, yeah. But so for the Last Girl on Earth tour, I remember I didn't have the money, so I did not buy the meet and greet. I just enjoyed the show. And actually, Rihanna had a after party at the same place her benefit show was in 2008, Excalibur. So I just went out in front just to try to see her like walk in. And I remember seeing her walk in. That's all I'd seen her like up close, close. But for the actual show, I was close. I had front row, right in front of her pink tank that she sang hard on, and then she sang the slow songs on the tank. So I remember seeing her there for that show. And the Last Girl on Earth tour was her first arena tour in America. This is like her, yeah, Last Girl on Earth was her first major headlining tour in America. So then that was August 25th, 2010. And then right when that ended, I mean, Loud Era began. The end of 2010, Loud Era was complete chaos and everywhere. I mean, she had Only Girl, What's My Name, S&M, you had Man Down, California King Bed, I mean, Cheers. I mean, you had so much of Rihanna. She was everywhere. And she had the red hair. I remember she had all different versions of her red hair, from the shorter hair to longer, curly, long and straight. She was everywhere. I mean, I remember she performed on every major award show, from like American Music Awards, Billboard Awards. Um, so the Loud Tour was announced, and Chicago, I remember America was the first leg of this tour. And I got tickets, and I actually bought the meet and greet. I saved up, and it was $500. And the meet and greet was after the show, I remember. And it was like at 2 or 3 in the morning. Rihanna, if you know Rihanna, she does her meet and greets late. So be prepared to stay up late. That's just Rihanna. When she did have meet and greets, I'll say that, because Rihanna no longer has meet and greets. Just to let you all know that. Stop asking me that. She doesn't have them on tour. She does not have meet and greets. You can't buy them. You can't get on the list. Nothing like that. Rihanna does not have meet and greets. Um, so at that point, we go back. I go backstage. I'm by myself. She recognizes me immediately. She's like, "Oh my God, how are you? How have you been?" And again, I gave her another photo album with pictures from the Last Girl on Earth tour from the year previously, and she's hugging me. I mean, Rihanna couldn't have been any sweeter. Rihanna's always super sweet, especially if she recognizes you or knows you're always there supporting her. And already now, this is, 6 years of her kind of seeing me or meeting me throughout the years. Um, and yeah, it was a great meet and greet. It was great meeting her like that, but it was quick because it was like, I think like 300 to 400 people she had to get through, and it was like 2 or 3 in the morning, so it was late. She was tired, but her energy was amazing, and it was awesome. 2012, she did not tour. Rihanna at that point only did like a few festivals, I remember, mostly in Europe, and I think she did the iHeart Music Festival here in America, and that was in Las Vegas, and I didn't go to that. That's before I really started like traveling hardcore. Everything prior was in Chicago. Um, so then comes um, the end of 2012 was the single Diamonds, as well as the release of Unapologetic, as well, followed by the single Stay. Um, and she announces the Diamonds World Tour for the beginning of 2013. And again, um, America first was the first leg of the tour. And on this tour, Rihanna was huge. Like, Rihanna's tour, I remember, was like 7 or 8 legs. And that tour went from, I think, if I'm not mistaken, February 2013 through December, I think the end of 2013. She went to almost, I think, every continent. I mean, she even hit Africa, she hit Australia, she hit New Zealand, all of Europe, Asia. I mean, you name it, Rihanna went there for the Diamonds World Tour. Um, so Chicago, I remember, is one of the first dates. It's actually March 22nd, 2013. And I went with myself and two friends. And she we had pretty good seats. We were like fourth row, center, amazing seats. She killed it on the stage, and that's when she had like the half shaved head and the long hair on the other side for the whole first leg of the tour. And we remember we heard she was still in town like that night, and the following day, like we heard that she was still in town somehow. I forget how we even found out, to be honest. So me myself, I was like, okay, we need to see Rihanna somehow. I don't know how, but I need to see her. So we're scoping it out, and all of a sudden, we're downtown on the Mag Mile. Mag Mile is like the famous shopping street in Chicago. It got like all the big stores like Chanel, Louis Vuitton, Gucci, Prada. It has all like the big designer stores. And Chanel is at the end of the Magnificent Mile. And I see Rihanna's bodyguard. And that's how I knew. We were just driving around, and I see him get out. And they're trying to open up like the door to Chanel. And they have Chanel closed just for Rihanna to shop. And we didn't know it was Rihanna necessarily. I just seen it was her bodyguard. And I was like, okay, yo, that's so and so. So Rihanna got to be in that truck. And we run out of the car. We double park it like right off a side street. Could have got a ticket or towed, to be honest. And Rihanna comes out of the car, and like the door's still not open, so they're still waiting for the door. Luckily, if the door wasn't if the people weren't there to let her in right away, we wouldn't have met her. Because Rihanna was like, I mean, she had headphones on. I actually show the picture here. She had headphones on, and I mean, she had like a beanie on. She had like this yellow fur thing. It was like faux fur. Um, and I was like, it was cold, and Rihanna's like, "Yo, chill, chill. Like, it's good. You're okay. You're okay." Like, but I was just panicking a little because it was cold. We didn't know when the door opened. Was she gonna run in? And Rihanna took two photos with me because the first one came out blurry, and she was like, "Yeah, we'll take another one." She took photos with me, two for me because one came out blurry, and then one for my friend and one for my other friend. So we each got photos, and she couldn't have been sweeter. Like I said, stop, no problem. And this is, like I said, on the Diamonds World Tour 2013. Um, at this point, Instagram just started popping. And this is on my Instagram at NickGallo610. So that day, or that night, I think I posted my two photos on Instagram. And I mean, this is before hashtags was even a thing. I don't even know how it was found or why or who did or who sent it to her. Well, I remember waking up the next day and I had like 6,000 notifications on my phone. I didn't know what was happening. To be honest, I thought there was like a glitch in my phone or someone hacked my phone or my phone was broken because I never seen this many notifications. Like my phone was just like, like just notification, notification, notification. I was like, what is going on? Like, what happened overnight that I didn't see? Like, what did I miss? So come to find out, my two photos went viral, and Rihanna seen them and followed me. I didn't even realize she followed me, to be honest. I just seen the photos went viral, and everyone's messaging me like, "Yo, Rihanna followed you," and I was like, "No." I'm like, I would have seen the notification, but then, duh, in the middle of the night, I was sleeping, and she must have followed me, and because there were so many notifications, it probably just got lost. It probably went away by the time I woke up and seen. Um, so she followed me, and she liked the photo. She was actually liking like tons of photos, to be honest, but she liked them two photos. And from there, that's when the journey of Rihanna knowing me, because she recognized me obviously from all the years. Yeah, I remember this is 2013. I first met her in 2005. So this is now 8 years of just kind of supporting her and meeting her throughout the years, but not a lot, but I guess enough for her to recognize me and just seeing me in the crowd in the front at her shows. So yeah, she follows me, and I remember I just started posting a lot of photos. So yeah, I remember the tour just began. So now she's, finishing up the American leg, and then she went to Europe and London and Australia and Asia and Africa, New Zealand. She went everywhere. So she was out and about a lot, Rihanna, throughout this time. Um, so I was posting a lot of photos of her, all different photos taken of her. I was just like posting them, and she was loving them. Like Rihanna liked so much stuff. Like this one, Rihanna was the most interactive. I feel on Instagram. Um, she, yeah, she was so involved in watching everyone's stories and followed me and followed all like the big supporters and stands, and I guess the Rihanna Navy, that we all say, the biggest stands she followed from the Rihanna Navy. So there's a small group of us, a big group, but it's still a very small group. So from there, I remember she got sick on the American leg, and she had to postpone two shows. I think it was Houston and Dallas, if I'm not mistaken. And she added it. She said it's going to be rescheduled. She don't know when. Well, they ended up rescheduling it to the end. Oh yeah, this is what I was saying. That tour ended almost to the end of the year. The tour concluded in November 2013. It began in February, ended in November, and she added the two, Houston and Dallas. She added three more shows in America. So it could be like a mini leg of America of the tour. So once I seen she announced that, I was like, you know what? I'm gonna go. And from there, um, I was going to all five shows originally. I ended up only going to four. So I ended up going to, it was Denver, Oklahoma City, Dallas, Houston, and the last show of the full tour, the Diamonds World Tour, was New Orleans. They lost my luggage coming home from one of the cities. I forgot where. It was either Denver or Oklahoma City, and I couldn't. In order, I had like money. I don't know why I put money in there like an idiot. Um, and I had stuff in there that I needed, like certain clothes I was gonna wear, and they couldn't find it, and then it screwed up my days. So I was flying every day, like to another city, to go to the shows and staying in hotels. And so, like I said, I went to Denver, went to Oklahoma City, went to Houston, and then I went to New Orleans, the closing show. I didn't end up going to Dallas because that's when something happened when my luggage got lost from one of the other cities, and I never got back to Chicago. And yeah, it was a whole mess. So every show, I had pretty decent seat. I went by myself, but I got to know people and fans from each city. I was always in the first, like I said, first within 6 to 7 rows, but mostly always in the first like 3 to 4 rows. And throughout the tour, if you recognized, Rihanna brought back a lot of big fans that she recognized, that she followed actually on social media. So I was like, you know what? Let's see if she sees me. Be awesome to go backstage because at this point, Rihanna, like I said, no longer has meet and greets. Rihanna's last paid meet and greet and organized like meet and greet where there's a list where she was meeting like just people that paid or record executives or radio station winners or something like that. That was only on the Loud Tour and the Alaska Leonard Tour, at least in America. I don't know what other countries. That was the only meet and greet that you could buy a ticket for, and they were limited. They weren't. It wasn't a lot. So Diamonds World Tour, if she didn't recognize you or bring you backstage somehow, you weren't you weren't allowed, and you couldn't meet her. It was not easy to meet Rihanna during that time on that tour because she was on top of the world. She's still top of the world, but I'm saying that Diamonds, the single was huge, Stay was huge, Pour It Up. I mean, yeah, what now? Yeah, it was a big tour, and it was a big time for her. I remember that, the Diamonds World Tour. So the closing show in New Orleans, there's a good group of us that are huge fans, and a lot of them, um, Rihanna was bringing backstage already. They like prior told her, they told them like, "Yo, Rihanna's gonna bring us backstage," and they were already backstage. So I was just like, you know what? Let me just put a post up on my Instagram and see if Rihanna sees it, and hopefully she does. And it's like 3 in the morning. They're still back there, but they haven't met her yet. And there's a couple of us outside, fans outside, about a good 10 to 15 of us, and Rihanna hasn't met them yet. So I just put a post. I'm like, I'm still by the buses. Would love to see you tonight to say, congrats and, congrats on the completion of the tour. 2 seconds later, she comments on my post, "Where you at?" Or "Where are you? Where are you?" I think it said. And everyone around me was like, "Nick, Nick, Nick." She said, "Where are you?" So I message her back. I comment back actually, and I'm like, "Hey, I'm by the buses," and she's like, "Okay, my bodyguard's coming to get you." And with not even within 5 minutes, her bodyguard comes and gets me. He's like, "Where's Nick?" I'm like, he's like, "Okay, Ree wants to see you. Come back, come with me." Um, and go backstage. I'm with everyone that was literally still waiting to go see her. We were in a room, and I remember we had like she had alcohol for us and some food, and she wasn't in there yet, so we were still waiting. Then a couple minutes pass. She comes in there with Melissa, um, her manager Jay Brown, and Rihanna right away. Open arms. This is the first time she said it. She's like, "Nick," and I couldn't believe she knew me by name now. So it was kind of interesting. Like, yo, she knows me. Like, she brought me back. She knows my name. Like, really knows my name. And we talked for a few minutes. It was a little chaotic because there was a lot of people back there. It was a good probably like 10 to 15 of us. But a lot of people, it was their first time meeting her, so they were more excited and a little more, energized. Where me, I'm very like relaxed, and she's a person. She's not like people get this thing of celebrities as they're not human, and they're human just like us. So talk to them like a human. They don't want to be screamed at. They don't want to be touched or grabbed or shaken. Just talk to them like a human. And that's what I did. And yeah, it was great. I mean, it ended the tour in an amazing way. It ended my trip across 4 different cities in a week, um, to close with that. And it was the ending of the tour too. Was amazing. So yeah, that was November 15th, 2013. Was the close of the Diamonds World Tour. Began in February, ended November 13th, 2013, in New Orleans. Um, 2014, Rihanna did not have her own tour, but Rihanna did go on the Monster Tour, which was a co-headlined stadium tour with Eminem. It was 3 cities, 2 shows each. It was LA, New York, and Detroit. Um, I went to 2 of the shows, which I went to 2 Detroit shows. I did not meet her. It was still an amazing show. I'm not gonna lie. I thought that show was beyond amazing. Um, and that was in 24. That was August 22nd and 23rd, the summer of 2014, in Detroit, Michigan, and it was at their baseball stadium. Eminem and Rihanna, and they did the um, ALS challenge, the second show. So that was really cool to see the ALS challenge done, and actually have it recorded on video. Um, I'll put a little clip here too, so you could see it. But yeah, that was cool. Um, the rest of that year, Rihanna was still in the perfumes and cologne world when she was releasing fragrances. So she did in October, she was doing her first cologne, which was Rogue, and she was doing not a signing, an appearance and meet and greet in Atlanta. So we found out, me and my 2 friends found out about 3 days before. So plane tickets were crazy expensive, and we were like, okay, we need to be there. So my one friend was like, well, I'll drive, and we'll just stay over one night, and then we'll drive back. So it was like, I think, 11 or 12-hour drive. Um, we drive there. Rihanna's so excited to see me. She sees me. Oh my God, how are you? Like, but quick because it was just, this is like 400 to 500 fans. You had to buy the cologne, and then you got to meet her. I remember she had long dark hair. She looked beautiful. She had all black on, with like pearl accents throughout her dress. Um, yeah, that was the end of 2014. 2015, Rihanna did not tour, but Rihanna did do another perfume meet and greet, actually in Brooklyn, New York, at Macy's for Riri the perfume, and that was actually August 31st, 2015. This is the first time I didn't really have a lot of money, so I bought a round trip ticket to New York. Didn't have anywhere to stay. Had a flight the next morning at like 5 in the morning. So waiting in line with a lot of big fans that she knows and I know, um, at the Macy's. We're waiting there all day. Actually, like got dressed in the fitting room. Um, yeah, there. We see her. She's so excited to see all of us. Like all the biggest fans flew in from all over that she knew, as well as other new fans that have never met her. And she had the curly brownish hair. She had the pink dress on, very very like girly girly. The perfume look was, and she had all pink. It was all pink the whole set. And we took a picture, and I'll show you it here. Um, it was awesome. I mean, she's amazing as usual. Yeah, couldn't have been any better. Like I said, waited at the airport till the morning and hopped on the flight, went right to work. I remember. Yeah, that was fun. So fast forward, then that's the rest of 2015. 2016, Rihanna releases Anti, as well as announces the Anti World Tour. At this point, I didn't know how many shows I was going to go to, but I said to myself, I'm going to go to a lot of shows and I'm going to support, and hopefully Ree will see me. So I made sure to go to the opening show, which was on March 12th, 2016, in Jacksonville, Florida. I had front row actually for the show, and she seen it was, I'll never forget. It was during, more than halfway through the show. She knew I was coming there because she was DMing me, and I don't like to share a lot of my DMs with Ree, um, but she knew I was going to be there. Um, she sees me. The music starts for Same Old Mistakes, and she puts sunglasses on for the song, and all of a sudden I see her look. She like looks to her right. No, I'm sorry, looks to her left, sees me. It must have, the second she looked, she must have just seen me. And she like takes her glasses down. She's like waving to me. And I'm like, me? She's like, you. And she's waving to me. And that's when she recognized me, that I was actually at the show. And she's like, and it was so funny. And then she started singing the song. And at the end of the show for the Anti Tour, she comes to the front and waves and looks at everyone in the front and just waves, or signs your seat. If you had the Anti album ready with a Sharpie, she would sign it for you. And she seen me and she was like, "Oh my God, how are you?" And she went like something like this, like she was gonna bring me backstage. And so I was waiting after for a little, but it was the first show, so it was really chaotic. And she just had a lot going on. Remember, it's the first show. She was getting used to getting back on tour. So she DMs me that night, like, "Nick, I'm so sorry I didn't get to see you to bring you backstage, but what other shows are you going to? Like, I definitely have to see you." So the next show I was going to was in Cincinnati, Ohio, which was about 7 days away. So I went to the Cincinnati, Ohio show by myself, and I had second row center. And she didn't tell me necessarily if I was going to meet her at this show or what show. I don't know. Rihanna just kind of, you have to just be ready, and she sees you and she knows you're there. It's Rihanna. She remembers. She has a very good memory, and if she knows you, she knows you, and she'll take care of you. I will say that about Rihanna. Um, so fast forward, she, um, the show ends in Cincinnati, and I'm waiting by the buses, and there's about maybe like 300 people waiting. So I'm like, dang, this is a lot of people, and it's cold. It's pretty cold out, I remember. And her bodyguard and her tour manager or road manager, I forgot which one it was, come out and go, "Where's Nick Gallo? Is Nick Gallo here?" And I'm like, and they're like, "Come here, Rihanna wants to see you." And all the fans were like, "Who are you? Like, why do you get to go backstage?" And like I said, guys, she doesn't have meet and greets. So the only way to meet Rihanna or to have a one-on-one with her is her to know you. It's not nothing you can really plan or buy or be promised, because she has to do it. Not her manager, not her assistant, not her team, not Fenty Corp. It's Rihanna. Rihanna needs to know you and want to see you. So it's not like that. This meet and greet was the best meet and greet me and Ree had. Actually, they bring me back right in front of her out in front of her dressing room. Her dressing room door is closed, and she's, I guess, getting ready. And before she comes out, Jay Brown comes out. Jay Brown is Rihanna's manager. That has been her manager since day one. He's really good friends with Jay-Z. He's a part of why Rihanna is Rihanna and why she signed and who she is. And yeah, Jay Brown. If you know Rihanna, you know Jay Brown. If you don't know Jay Brown, you don't know Rihanna. Um, Jay Brown comes out of the dressing room and he's like, "Oh my God, Nick, Rihanna has told me so much about you. Thanks for," I don't remember all of it perfectly, but he was just saying, like, "Thanks for always supporting. She told me how you've been there literally from the beginning, and, from Palm the Replay and Music of the Sun and until now. So, we want to thank you. And we actually want to give you tickets to the next show. So let us know, take down this number and blah, blah, blah. Hit up this person and whatever tickets you need. The next show, let us know. It's on us." And I'm like, yo, and I was kind of blown away because I've always seen Jay Brown, but I'd never spoken to him because I was always kind of intimidated a little. But Jay Brown is such a nice person. Um, and I couldn't thank him enough. He was like, I was like, "Thank you." I'm like, just me, being supportive, and you know, when I support someone, I will, support them, go to their shows, buy their music, and whatever else. And it was so cool to meet him. And then about a couple minutes later, Rihanna comes out, fresh makeup and arms out, Nick. And this is this was probably one of the best times because it was me and her one on one. It was literally me, her, her two bodyguards, and Jay Brown like down the hall, and we're in the hallway, literally just chatting it up. Like, I'm not gonna talk about everything because just stuff I like to keep private. Um, but just talking like normal people, literally normal people. And yeah, it was like two normal people just talking in the hallway and just catching up like we're good old friends. And um, yeah, so we did that. Uh, then I was like, "Ree, we gotta," and this is right when Instagram still had only 15-second videos you could post. I remember. It's before everything else was released were longer videos. I was like, "Ree, we need to take a video or do something." And so I have my phone out. I'm like, she takes it and I'm like, "Let's record." I don't know what you want to say or what I want to say, but I just need something with you. Like, and she's like, "Oh, I hate this. I hate videos." And like, "Come on, just do it." And she's laughing. And we do it. And it's the iconic 30-second video that you could watch. I'll post a little clip here that you could see while I'm talking. Um, but yeah, we record the video. And then I was like, "Rhea, we need some selfies." And Rhea's like, "Okay, cool, cool. Let's get good lighting." So Rihanna takes all three of the selfies. They're probably some of the most iconic selfie photos she's ever taken. I think those pictures have been used by so many people throughout the world. And then we take two posed photos that her bodyguard takes for me on my camera. And I have the tour book. I have the tour book, and I want to get it signed because I want to get it framed or something. And she signs it to my baby daddy, Nick. To my baby daddy, Nick, heart, Rihanna. She puts anti-tour, March 19th, 2016. And she writes it all out, which is really cool because it's something really I cherish. Um, yeah, and she's like, "Do you got a ride home? Like, how are you getting home?" I'm like, "Oh, I'll just hop in an Uber." She's like, "You sure?" She's like, "I could get you a car." And I don't want to be, I don't want to be a bothersome. I'm like, "No, Ree, I'll be fine." She's like, "Okay, just message me when you get back. Um, get back to your hotel. I just want to make sure you're safe." She's like, "Because I'm just hopping on the tour bus and I'm going to the next city." And she told me, she's like, "I did my makeup just for you." And it was pretty cool to know Rihanna did her makeup just for me. And she looked amazing. Um, and oh, and she also signed my anti album because I didn't want to get it signed. And then her bodyguard and her were like, "Nick, you sure you don't want it signed?" I was like, "Well, I don't want you to like sign more stuff you don't have to." And they were like, "No, we'll sign it." And she put to Nick, to my boy Nick, heart Rihanna, and I have that still. I'll show a picture up here of it, and I'll show a picture of the tour book. Um, so yeah, uh, that tour. I also went to Detroit, Brooklyn, New York, my hometown show, Chicago, as well as the Atlanta show, as well as the Global Citizen Festival in New York City, which was, I guess, the official last anti-American date. Um, from there, that's when Fenty Beauty, so 2016 ended. Fenty Beauty was released in, what was it, 2017. So Rihanna was doing the launch. I remember the first city was New York City. She was busy, so it's not like I could always, she's not the Rihanna's not hard to get a hold of, but at the same point, she's a busy person. She's becoming a mogul now. Rihanna's doing Fenty Beauty and doing a lot in her career. Um, so I go to New York, and she actually tweets or Instagrams, I forget what, "Meet me in Times Square at midnight." And I was like, "Oh God, this is gonna be chaos," because she announced it to the masses. So I get to Times Square, and it's like just people everywhere in front of Sephora. And Sephora is all gated off. And I'm like, there's no way I'm gonna be able to see her. Like, she's not gonna be able to see me because it's too nuts. Like I said, it's probably a good like 20,000 people from just bystanders in Times Square, as well as people that were there because Rihanna tweeted or Instagrammed a message that she was going to be there. Um, so I was like, okay, well, obviously it's not going to be able to see her in the front. It's too chaotic. She did come out to the front and just waved to people and took photos, but didn't like take pictures with anyone or sign any autographs. She didn't do nothing like that. It was very just like waving, taking photos for press, and she went back in Sephora. On the side of Sephora, which is like behind Good Morning America, on the side where like Good Morning America entrances, there's the side entrance of Sephora. Her trucks are parked there. So I was like, okay, let me wait here and hopefully she'll see me. That's all I could really do. Like I said, it's about 20,000 people and it's now like close to 1 in the morning. Um, yeah. So she hasn't left yet, but some of her team is leaving or walking out. And I see Jay Brown, who's her manager, as well as her videographer, who recognizes me and knows me. And they're both like, "Yo, does Ree know you're here?" And I'm like, "No, I don't think so." I'm like, I know she's busy. I don't know if she's checked her DMs or what, or, I'm like, "I don't know. I know she's been busy." And they're like, "Nick, wait here. Like, just wait here." So I'm like, "Okay, cool. Like, I'll wait here." I mean, like 5 to 10 minutes later, Rihanna comes out and she waves, quick waves. I mean, it's people just surrounding. It's chaos. Like, you literally cannot walk. You cannot drive even barely. And she sees me. No, I'm sorry. She goes inside her truck, and her videographer and her manager go, Nick, go on the other side of the truck. And I'm like, are you sure? And literally, there was like two policemen. They grabbed me. And as they grabbed me, because they were like, whoa, yo, what are you doing? I'm like, they told me. And as they're like holding me, Rihanna rolls down the window and it's like, he's fine, let him through. So out of all these people, literally like 20,000 people just all in Times Square here for Rihanna, is me with Rihanna at the window of her truck. She just like rolls, she's like, what's up, Nick? How are you? Like, so the one thing I love about Rihanna, no matter how much of the chaos it is, she makes you feel like you and her are the only two talking, and it's just like, hey, how are you? How you been? Like, just very nonchalant, very chill, very just like, hey, what's up? Like, how have you been? And like grabs my hand and gives me a little hug, like through the window. And I'm like, oh, I just had to come see you and had to come support. And she's like, oh my God, thank you so much. And, you know, oh my God, I can't believe, she was just saying like, I can't believe this is happening with Fenty Beauty. And she was so excited. And, this was all still when it was new. This is the day it was released, and the launch. So I was like, Rhea, we need to take a photo. Like, this is an iconic day. She's like, yes, yes. So there was the police officer right next to me, and he took my phone, took my photo. We had a beautiful photo together, and I'll post it here. Um, and yeah, took the photo. She's like, okay, be safe. Like, I'll see you soon. And yeah, like, whatever. So, and I will tell you this as well. Going back to 2016 in the Global Citizen Festival, I did see Rihanna that night after her getting dinner. I didn't get a photo with her, but it was literally, oh my God, it's so good to see you. How are you? She recognized I had the Puma, her Puma shoes on, the line she had with Puma. And she recognized she's like, oh my God, your shoes. And, like every time I see Rihanna, I don't have to get a photo. It's a very important thing. They're human. You don't have to get a photo with someone every time you see them. But going back to Fenty Beauty, 2017, New York City, that was that year. So then the next year, 2018, Rihanna was slowly launching Fenty Beauty in different countries throughout the year, actually, and just all different times. And I was actually in London for the first time. Uh, I went out to London. I was there for, I think, 11 days, if I'm not mistaken. And I don't know if Rihanna was going to be there, if Rihanna had any launches in the area. I didn't know nothing. But there was rumors that Rihanna was going to do the Milan, Italy launch um, very shortly, or sometime during that time. So um, people are messaging me saying it's possibly going to happen, but we don't know. So finally, it's the day that everyone's suspecting Rihanna's going to be here in Milan, Italy for the launch. Remember, I'm in London. London is about a 2-hour plane ride from Milan. I go online, see how much a round trip would be. Come to find out, it's not that expensive. So I was like, you know what? I'll figure it out when I get there. Book a round trip. Book it that morning. I'm at the airport by 11, take off by noon, in Milan by like 2:30 in the afternoon. Check into my hotel by 3ish, and I still have no idea like where the party's at. Ree's not really messaging. She's not like, I don't know if she's on social media or if she's just busy because, like I said, she's there for the Milan launch of Fenty Beauty. So the night it gets later. I brought one outfit with me, one outfit that was a dressy outfit, so I could be prepared for the party. I get dressed, and I start noticing people posting pictures at the party, and they're showing like they're putting the location of where it is. So I was like, okay, cool. Like I know where it's at. So I get ready. I hop in an Uber and I go to the where the party is. So I'm thinking it's gonna be at like some club, I'm assuming, and she'll see me at the front door when she walks in, and she'll bring me right in because that's usually how Rihanna. She sees you, she's like, "What are you waiting out here? Come inside." Like, why are you out here? So it wasn't like that. It was at this like random studio, and the red carpet and the entrance to the actual party was like a whole block away from where you entered on the guest list. So I'm like, okay, this is, yeah, I don't know how this is gonna happen because there's no way Rihanna's even entering this way. Rihanna was gonna enter like some back way somehow. And the party's going on for an hour. Rihanna's still not there, and I'm out in front of where you wait to get in to check your name off at the guest list and go walk the red carpet and walk in. Um, so I'm message Rihanna like posted like an IG story, and I just messaged her from the IG story like, "Hey Ree, um, I'm here in Milan. I'm actually at the gate trying to get in, but obviously I need a way in." And she didn't respond back. So I was like, you know what? It is what it is. Like if it doesn't happen, I'm not. It was worth a try. Well, maybe like another 20 minutes later, two Fenty Beauty reps come. I see them. They have like Fenty Beauty shirts on, and they come walking down, and they go, "Hey, is Nick Gallo here? Is a Nick Gallo here?" There's only maybe like 10 to 15, maybe like not even 5 to 10 people, like kind of like just waiting for the rest of their party to come to go into the party, or just waiting to get in somehow. I don't know what, or waiting to see if they're on the list. And I'm like, yeah, I'm Nick Gallo. Like I didn't know what's happening. They're like, oh, Rihanna wants to invite you in. But I was like, oh, okay. And but we have to take a selfie and send it to her assistant just to make sure it's you. We had to confirm it's you with them. And they send the selfie to her assistant. They're like, yep. She just texts back, it's you. Rihanna will be arriving in the next like 15 to 20 minutes. So go inside the party. Party is lit. I mean, DJ playing, um, a lot of industry people from Milan, like all the biggest bloggers and fashionistas and like MUAs and just like everyone that's in Italy or Milan is there. There's like a couple bars set up, open bar, top shelf, different fancy beauty things set up for makeup if you want to get it done. And I'm just observing it all. I'm just like, yo, I'm really in Milan, Italy at Rihanna's party waiting for Rihanna to arrive. Like this is huge. Kind of crazy, I'm not gonna lie. Um, so maybe 20 minutes later, Rihanna arrives. And when Rihanna arrives, it's like everyone scurries to the front to see her. And I'm just like, oh my God, people, like, chill. Like, you're at a party with her already. Like, she's gonna see you or look at you, or you're gonna see her on stage or something. So she goes on the little stage they have, and she just says a little speech about how she's thankful everyone's here and she's excited for Fenty Beauty to be in Milan, Italy. And she was releasing a new makeup product that day that Milan was getting first. So it was getting launched in Milan first and everywhere else the next day. And she comes down off the stage and she's just walking through. And there was a couple fans that she invited in that some fans are just they get crazy. Like they just run up to her. And it's like, yo, just relax. I don't do that. As Rihanna's walking, she sees me. The second she sees me, she stops, hugs me. Nick, oh my God, I can't believe you're here. Like, she couldn't believe like I was there, like in Milan, Italy for this. And she hugs me. I have a drink in my hand. She's a drink in her hand. We take a couple selfies. I was like, we need a couple selfies together. And yeah, she goes on and says hi to more people because I know she has to make her rounds. There was a lot of people. But she says hi to a lot of people. And then she comes back around to talk to us. And she's telling other Rihanna Navy, like, do you know who he is? Pointing to me. And I'm like, she's like, oh, you know Nick. You know who Nick is, right? I'm like, they're like, yeah, yeah, we know who Nick is. And she's like, oh, okay, just making sure, just making sure. And I'll actually show the video right here. She has her hand on like my shoulder, and she's like has another Rihanna Navy fan going like, you know who he is, right? Like saying like, if you don't know Nick, you don't like you should know Nick. And it was so funny because I was like, Ree, what do you? It was just so fun. I was cracking up. And then Jay Brown was there. One of her makeup artists, Hector, was there. Um, got to meet him for the first time there. We took a photo. I'll post here. I also got a photo with Jay Brown. I'll post right here. Um, and they actually gave certain people at the party, they had a list of certain people. I don't know how, maybe by photograph, but as you were leaving, certain people were given a gift bag of like $300 to $500 worth of Fenty Beauty. I knew I couldn't bring it with me, but I still took it. And luckily, I made friends with someone and they shipped it to me. And I gave it to my sister when I got it. So, yeah, that was that. It was an awesome trip. And then I went back to London and went back to back to Chicago, a couple days later. That was 2018. 2019, I did not get to see Rihanna, but the one great thing she did do, she gave me an advance copy of the Rihanna book, the Rihanna coffee table book. Take a photo of it. It's right here. Um, Getting that meant a lot. I mean, for her to personalize it to say to Nick, love Rihanna, before it was even released to the public, that meant a lot. Like someone at Rihanna's stature does not have to do anything for nobody. She doesn't have to do anything. And Rihanna is one of the most humble people. So, I thank you every day for that because you did not have to do that. But I do cherish it. It's still in the box because I don't want it out. Um, it's very dear to my heart. Um, and then that was 28. That was 2019 actually. Um, and to be honest, I actually did see Rihanna for a brief second. She was at a movie premiere in LA, and I was living in LA in 2019. And I seen her, and we just said hi right away. That was it. It was a quick hi, no photo, no, something like I said, you don't always have to get a photo with someone. It goes far if you listen and stay by that. 2020, obviously, COVID, so we didn't get to see each other, or she had no events. Obviously, no one did. 2021, I was in New York City in September, and the Met Gala was happening. I actually seen Rihanna leave her hotel with ASAP, and it was chaos just to see the outfit. And I went back to the hotel after she got back from the Met Gala because she was going to go out because she had an official after party. And she didn't know I was even there because, like I said, I know Rihanna's busy and she's not on social media as much. But I still just wanted to go to support her and see what she was going to wear to her after party. And she comes out of the hotel, doesn't say hi to anybody, sees me, comes up to me immediately, grabs my hand. She's like, Nick, how are you? And literally, again, no photo, just chatting with her. Just chatting. It was so good to talk to her and just see her and give a hug. Like I said, just talked, literally. And yeah, that's my most recent time with Rihanna. Was September 13th, 2021. And it just goes to show like people always want to know how you get to know someone. Support, be seen, be authentic, be genuine, be real. If you really want an artist to get to know you, go on the journey with them. Don't become a fan because they're super famous now. Like, no. I literally, we have known each other from 2005 to it's now 2022, which that's crazy to believe. That's almost going on 18 years next year. So it's almost 20 years of knowing someone. You gotta remember, when we met, I was 18, she was 17. Rihanna's a year younger than me. She's born in 88, I'm born in 87. So it's crazy that I'm 35, she's 34 right now. And she still, anytime she sees me, or anytime she could do something for me, she always makes sure I'm good. She sees me. Her team makes sure I'm good. Like I said, we've had a lot of private chats, and she's one of the greatest people I've ever met. Super humble, even though she's a mogul and global superstar and billionaire status now. She's still the same Robin, Rihanna Fenty that I met in 2005 to now. She hasn't changed. She's been the same. Call what you want. She's just a normal person that went after her dreams and made it. Um, so yeah, that's my story and how I got to know Rihanna. Everyone asks. You got a long version of it, almost a good hour and 30 minutes of the stories of me and Rihanna. So I hope you enjoy. Make sure to subscribe to my channel. If there's any other artists that you know that I know or have met or want to know about or want to know how I built that relationship, let me know in the comments below, and I will choose which ones I want to do sooner or later for you all. Um, but yeah, guys, it's Nick Gallo, Gallo the guy you know. I am signing off. Hope you enjoyed this story of me getting to know Rihanna, and see you soon, guys.